You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Well, let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, 10th day of February, 2021. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. If you can't see the screen I have up, go to our homepage at CFRN.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds, and that will give you one-click access to the show each and every day. Once you register that way, what will happen going forward is you'll get an email each day right before the show starts, and in that email will be a link. Click the link, and that joins you to the broadcast with one-click access, and it gives you access to the chat box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. There will, of course, be days you're out of the office, away from your desktop. Not to worry. Point any internet-connected browser to CFRN.net/live, You'll have a real-time simulcast of the show as it unfolds. You just won't have access to the chat box. We also stream live on YouTube at youtube.com/CFRN. We've also archived over 1,600 daily shows on our channel. So if you missed the live broadcast, you can always catch it after the fact. If you happen to be listening to this broadcast after the fact as a podcast on iTunes or iHeartRadio or Spotify, wherever pods are cast, you can, if you want, if you're not driving or operating heavy machinery, you can hit pause on your podcast player, point your browser to youtube.com/CFRN, find the daily show that corresponds with the podcast you're listening to, and you'll have the benefit of both audio and video as we walk through each one of the charts. And with all that said, let's open with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you today for your blessings, for your mercy, and for your grace. We realize that you are the true source of all true joy in our lives. It's not in the things of man. Those things fail us again and again. True joy is found in you, in our relationship with you. Not the relationship that our pastor has with you or our priest, but the personal relationship that we have with you. Today, during this broadcast, we ask that your voice sound clearly above all others. We ask that your peace be in our hearts, your grace be in our words, your love be in our hands, and your joy be in our souls. May your love surround us, your spirit guide us, your voice cheer us, your peace calm us, your shield protect us, your wisdom arm us, wherever you may lead. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, happy Wednesday, and it is on Wednesdays that David Grant joins us at the top of the hour. We'll talk about the Golden Journey and G999. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. These are the cash markets, the indices as they're called. Starting here in the U.S., the Dow is currently down 18 points. NASDAQ down 69. S&P 500 down 10. And the Russell 2000 down almost 3. Now those are red numbers, and they're small red numbers. So if you just glanced at that, you might think, well, nothing much happened today. But a lot did. So if you're watching the charts this morning, if you're in the live training room, you saw it happen. Incredible morning in the room this morning. Mike will be here in just a second to go over everything that happened this morning in the room. So those are the U.S. markets. Let's look in the commodity basket. Crude oil up 39 cents, trading 58.75 last. Gold up $3.50, trading 18.41 last. And silver down 36 cents, trading 27.04 last, and that's a drop of about 1.25%. In the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei posted a gain of 57 points, Shanghai rose 51 points, and the Hang Seng added 562. We've just begun Chinese New Year, so what effect that's going to have on the markets, we will see. I think that celebration, I think it's a 2-week party. You know, we have New Year's Eve and New Year's Day and go back to work, but the Chinese New Year's kind of a big deal there. All right, in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 7, DAX down 78, the CAC down 20. That gives us a green day in Asia And those 562 points on the Hang Seng, that's a gain of almost 2%. And the gain on the Shanghai of 51 points, that's almost 1.5%. So it's a green day in Asia, it is a red day in the UK, and it's currently a red radio. Nope, the Dow just went positive by a point. Now that's the cash index. So we now have a mixed market here in the US. Huge sell-off this morning, and then a huge bounce. We went from zone to zone, back to the zone. Some nice moves. We'll go over all of those as soon as Michael is done. Michael, if you're ready, you can take it away and cover that recap.
I am ready.
Okay, and I'll be here when you're done.
Okay, and I am ready. There you go. You should be looking at my charts right now. Just check. Looks good. Okay, here we go.
Yes, you
good
look
afternoon,
good. You're locked and loaded. It's all yours.
Excellent. Excellent. Vic, I gotta remember, got you on my list. Bark, got you on my list. Peter, you too. All right. Sorry, just going down the line of people. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 10th day of February 2021. If you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, go to the homepage at CFRN.net. Right here, scroll down to where it says free 5-day trial, no credit card required. Click on that, and you will be brought to this page, eminitrainingschool.com. Now, on this page, all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. You can tell us the biggest training challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you, and then you hit the send button. Once you hit that send button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click that link, we don't know that you took the free trial. So you got to click on that link. All right, now the spreadsheet. If you are going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 10th day of February 2021. Today we lost 8 ticks in crude. We made 112 ticks in gold. And we made 30 ticks on the ES. Put us at plus $1,415 this morning. And today it took 5 minutes in one trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 a contract on gold. And today it took 22 minutes to get, I'm sorry, we took a total of 22 trades. On the month now, we're at $6,357. That's over 8 trading days, averaging $794 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year now, we are at our second consecutive day of getting the goal. We had one down day so far this year. And we are now on our second consecutive day of getting the goal. So this is the number to be right here. 237 is the number to be. On the year now, we're at 20,692. That is over 27 trading days, averaging $766 per contract per 2-hour trading day. Now, I'm going to go backwards again here. I'm going to start out with the ES and work my way back to gold, because most of our trades were on gold. So I'll finish with gold. Okay. Now the ES was moving around a lot today. There was a lot of movement on the ES. So there were a lot of opportunities. I didn't take advantage of too many, but the ones that I did take advantage of were pretty good. Let's scroll all the way back. Here we go. Right in here. This was our first trade on the ES. We picked up 2 ticks on this one. Okay, our next trade was right in here. Now, this is where Dwayne and I were talking about different things. I was saying 39.10 is an area that price is going to go to, and it's going to go back to until next week, until probably next Wednesday. But anyway, we got a shorting opportunity right in here that I missed, and then we picked up the shorting opportunity that happened right after that. Right here when we picked up, what we get 20 ticks on that. So we got 5 points on that move down. It continued down to the weekly trading zone that it went back and forth around. And you'll see Dwayne is going to go over all the ups and downs with the weekly trading zones when he gets the charts back in a few minutes. But you can see in here, there was a lot of movement, but the slingshot wasn't letting us get in a lot of that. And it looks like a lot, but it's really only 6 minutes worth right there. We picked up another 8 ticks right here to put us at plus 30. There was a short right in here that I missed, would have been a break even. There was this nice leg down right here, but the slingshot right in here wasn't giving anything up, and then was getting too close to the zone to trade it. Okay, then it bounced off the zone, started moving up. There was a long right here that I missed. Got really choppy in here, started to break away from the chop. Got another long right here that I missed, and another long right here that I missed. And a break-even trade right there. And let's see, that was it for the morning session for me. It was really choppy in here for a whole 6 or 8 minutes. But I mean, this chop right here, if you don't know what you're doing, this is the stuff that people get into and they get stopped out and stopped out and stopped out to the tick over and over and over again. And so you got to know when not to trade in situations like that. And the slingshot down here would have kept you out of all of that. You wouldn't have had a single trade in there. Then once it finally broke out of that, there was a short there, another short there, another short there. It turned around, changed directions. It gave a long right here. And it's just recently given another short right here. Now this is a consolidation area right here. It's starting to get back into that choppy stuff. It closed down below the MA1 right there. So you'd be out of this at break even and waiting until it breaks away from all of this garbage. That's what I mean about knowing when to trade and when not to trade. You don't want to trade when it's in this range right here. And I would even extend that range to here, down to here. Okay, and I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to make it a different color, and then we can look at it tomorrow. Oops. Okay, and we'll see how I did. I'm going to make it that color because I haven't used that color yet. So we can look at that tomorrow, and you'll see why you don't want to trade in a range like that. Okay, that was the ES. Now Crude, we just had a few trades on Crude. Actually, we just had one trade right here. It was a break even. It was a stop out. We were -8 ticks on that trade. And I was saying that I thought it was going to get up to 58.85 right in here. And it got there right at the end of the session this morning. Pulled back down, went up even a little bit higher than that. Came back down and gave a shorting opportunity right here. And that was it on the Crude. Did not have a lot of opportunity on Crude today. Okay, gold. Let me catch my breath before I start doing gold today. Come on, charts. Okay, that's yesterday. Here we go. On gold. All right, our first trade on gold was right in here. We picked up 10 ticks on the very first trade. It was close above the trend line. We missed the follow-up trade here, would have been a break even. We grabbed the next one, was a break even. Then the one after that was also break even. Then we got 1 tick on the one after that. We had another break even here, and another break even there. It looks like 1 tick here. We missed a short there and a short there. One of those would have been profitable, one not. Another break even there. Then, so let's see. Right here, we picked up 5 ticks to put us at plus 16. 1 tick to put us at plus 17. Break even right there. Missed a trade there that would have been profitable. A trade there that would have been profitable. We got into some chop right in here. Now the indicators did not give us a trade set up in there, so that was good. Another break even trade there. Then we picked up 8 ticks on this one to put us at plus 85. 1 tick up there to put us at plus 20. Plus, not 85, plus 25. 1 tick here to put us at plus 26. A short here that I missed. That would have been a nice profitable trade. Then right here, we had a couple of things happen. I went short here, and then I went short again right here. Now this first one right here, I picked up 40 ticks on right there. And the second one from right here, I picked up 30 ticks on. So I got a total of 70 ticks out of both of these trades. And I didn't do that on purpose. I saw this one, I forgot I had it on, and it was all the way down into profit, and I saw this one, and so I put this one on. I still had this one on, so I managed the first one, and then I managed the second one. And I ended up with 70 ticks profit total in that leg down. Right here was a bounce off the BBC. Nice trade. I missed it. There was a break-even trade here. So at this point right here, we're plus 70. Oh no, plus 66. Actually, for the first one, the 40-tick trade, we're plus 66, and the 30-tick trade, we're plus 96. And then I had a break-even there. I missed a trade there, and I missed a trade there. And I was talking about how this looked like a top that it was putting in. And you can see if I extend that all the way over to here, it was a top it was putting in. So we went from plus 96 there, plus 102 there, then plus 112 right there. And then we missed that, and we got a break even right there, and another break even right there. And that was how we ended the morning session. There was one more long trade right here, right at the end, that I missed. And let's see, during the break. Not really a whole lot happening during the break. Okay. So we ended with plus 112 on gold. So it was a busy morning in gold. Now, we'll go back through the spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Let me scroll back. Today is the 10th day of February 2021. We lost 8 ticks in crude, made 112 in gold, made 30 on the ES. Put us at plus $1,415 per contract this morning. Today, we made, took 5 minutes and 1 trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 a contract. We took a total of 22 trades this morning. On the month now, we're up $6,357. That's over 8 business days, averaging $794 per contract per business day. Well, we're now on our 2nd consecutive day of getting the goal. And so far this year, we have gotten the goal 26 out of 27 days. I guess that's what I should put in here. We're on our 2nd consecutive day on the year, but this number is going to line up with this number until I have another down day. So let me just do 26 out of 27 possible days for the year that we've gotten the goal. Okay, so down here, we're up $20,692 on the year so far. That is 1 contract, 2 hours per day. Today is the 27th trading day of the year, and we are averaging $766 per contract per 2-hour trading day. Okay. All right. That's that. Now, again, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go to the homepage here at CFRN.net. Right down here, it says free 5-day trial, no credit card required. Just click on that, and you'll be brought to this page, eminitrainingschool.com. On this page, all we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. You can tell us the biggest trading challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit the send button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click that link, well, we don't know that you took the free trial. Okay, so you got to click on that link. All right, there you go. With that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
I am ready. Well, let me, almost ready. You do that.
Okay, a couple of clicks. One of these.
Clicks, click here, click there. Little click everywhere. There we go. Okay. Recap
All right.
the recap.
Today it took 5 minutes and 1 trade to get to $100 per contract.
Good job.
Thank you.
Was today the best day of the year yet?
No.
It
Today
wasn't?
was not my best day. No, it was a good day, but it wasn't my best day. My best day, I think, was 1,700 or something like that per contract. I don't know. Let me go look. I'll tell you. It was last month, and nope, it was the month before last month. Wait a minute. Let's see. We had 11. There was one span last month where we were making. This is 1716. Oh, here it is right here. 1640, 1780. That's my best day. 1780. The last week of last month, we had 3 days in a row where we made over $1,000 a contract.
Beautiful.
But 1780 is my best day so far this year. In the room. Anyway.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okie doke. Now, let's start here, and we'll get this done today in a half an hour, so we'll be ready for David when he comes on at the top of the hour. Okay, we are in week 132 of Logic 247. We start Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, and we trade round the clock till Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. Alerts can come out at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. It's whenever opportunity presents itself. We have traders around the world, so our day session is their night session and vice versa. So far this week, since Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued a total of 54 alerts. 7 never triggered. Still waiting on the results of 4. We've had 43 actionable alerts, of which 7 were stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract, per trade, less when possible. So that's 16% of the actionable. And a typical week is 20%. Yesterday we were at 21, so today it's at 16. Now, what Michael teaches you in the room each morning on the range chart, that's a fast chart. The reason we teach you on a fast chart is because we want to be able to show you as many trading opportunities as possible during that 2-hour period of time. In order for me to be able to teach you how to trade the larger time frame, you've got to first learn the underlying methodology and strategy. Otherwise, when you and I do a one-on-one mentoring session, you don't know what it is I'm talking about. So even if you aren't planning to, be a 4-tick range chart trader, everything that we teach is fluid across all markets, all time frames. When we go to the daily chart here, everything I say about the daily chart is true about the 30-minute chart or a 5-minute chart or the range chart or a volume chart or a 4-hour chart. Everything is fluid across all markets and all time frames. That's possible because markets are fractal in nature. Okay? Markets are fractal. What happens, what transpires on a daily? The same type of movement happens on a 1 hour, on a 30-minute, on a 5-minute. When we go from the small time frame to the large time frame back to a smaller time frame to set stops and that type of thing, nothing changes. You don't have to put on a different thinking cap. You don't have to break out different indicators. It's fluid. Now, it took a long time and a lot of hard work to take something as complicated as trading and make it simple. Trading's not easy. I don't care what anybody tells you. It's not easy. It can be simple. Okay? Now, let's look at the alerts from this week so far. Let me just scroll to the top. Sunday night, where we started. Valerie asked a great question this morning on behalf of, I think, one of the people in the room, perhaps, I don't know. We had like 4 or 5 alerts that came out at one time, and that's almost always the case. If the S&P is setting up a move, the Dow is, the Russell is, the NQ is. And even though gold and silver and crude are not index futures, when the other markets start to move, those markets will often provide a setup as well. And so the question was, should a person try to trade all of those alerts at one time? The answer is no. How could you? Number one, you'd have to have a pretty big account to cover the margin in all those different markets. And then you've got to manage the trade. We're not set it and forget it kind of people. Now, we have traders who do set it and forget it, and that's okay, and whatever works for you is fine, but that's not the method that we teach. I want you to be in front of the chart so that you can manage that trade. As time progresses and you become more confident and your skill level increases, you know, if that works for you, then you're welcome to it. We have traders that specifically want to trade the S&P or the Dow or the Russell or the NQ. That's why we cover all the different markets that we cover. And so far this week, this is what we've done in Logic 247. Last week we had a total of 84 alerts. 2 carried over to this week. 21 never triggered. Had 61 actionable alerts. Only 4 stopped out. That's 7%. Based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, less when possible, based on market structure, and a 3-step method that I teach. Now, a lot of stop losses are based on like a percentage of the ATR. There's any number of ways that you can manage your stop, and of course, it's your trading business. You're free to do it any way that you want. But if you want me to teach you the discretionary method on larger time frames, that's how I'm going to teach you. So if you choose to do it a different way, you certainly can, because it is your business. The 2 carryovers were on the Dow and the S&P. The way you read the alert, this is alert number 6,426. The idea behind the alert was to buy the Dow at 31,175. Initial target 31,195. The initial target is designed to provide you with your goal for the day. If your goal is 2 points on the S&P or 20 points on the Dow, 2 points on the S&P is $100. And so we cover this every day. When you start out in sim. We do not want you trading live money when you start, real money in a live market. You need to be in the simulator, in the demo account, until you can put together 10 consecutive days in a row where you reach your goal in 10 trades or less. Once you do that, the blueprint will give you the green light to go live with 1 contract. That's it, 1. Now you have a new goal. The new goal, because you're trading real money, is to increase your account balance by $2,000. Once you accomplish that, then the blueprint will give you the green light to add a second contract. Beautiful thing about the second contract is you're adding that with profit you earned in the market. So it doesn't matter what your opening account balance was, whether it's 3,000, 5,000, whatever the case. You want to increase that balance by $2,000 so that those profits can be used to underwrite the second contract. So you'll trade 2 contracts for a while. The blueprint will then tell you when it's time to add number 3. You add number 3 with profits you earned in the market trading 2 contracts. And the blueprint will tell you when it's time to add number 4, number 5, number 6. You never add more than 1 at a time, and you only add additional contracts with profit you earned in the market. That's so important to follow. Now, I know that many of you have had experience trading in the past. You've been through different programs, taken courses, been in rooms, had gurus, tried all kinds of indicators, oscillators, doesn't matter. Okay, whatever didn't work for you before, you gotta leave that in the past. It's negative baggage. Okay, don't let the past screw up your future. Clean slate, fresh start. Okay, so the way you read the alert, you're long 31,175. Initial target 31,195. When you wrote your business plan and your trading plan, which is part of the 2420 blueprint, walks you through the steps of doing that. Okay, if you decided that the kind of trader you want to be is the trader who takes 2 points a day out of the market, or the equivalent 2 S&P points, or the equivalent in another market, and then put the mouse away and increase the number of contracts over time, you can earn whatever it is you want to earn on 2 points a day. You don't need more points. You simply need to be able to consistently take those 2 points a day out of the S&P. And that's a challenge for some people. I was in a mentoring session yesterday. He never has a problem getting his points in the morning. What he struggles with is continuing to trade and some days ending up with less than desirable results. My recommendation is in the beginning, okay? Get your 2 points or the equivalent thereof and put the mouse away. Work on increasing the number of contracts. Now, over time, your skill level will increase. And so down the road, after you've earned the right to trade 3, 4, 5, 6 contracts, whatever the case may be, your skill level will have increased as well. Your ability to read the chart, to read price, to understand what the indicators are telling you. You might then say, hey, I'm going to stay in this move because the chart is not giving me any reason to get out of the trade. So you get to decide, well, what kind of trader you want to be. The mechanical model that we teach in the room, that right there, once you learn to use that consistently, again, by increasing the number of contracts with profit you earn in the market, that can take you wherever you want to go. If you want to trade the larger time frame, if you want to go for more points, let your skill level build first. Okay, so after the initial target, potential resistance, second target, potential resistance, third target, fourth target, the final trade 2 target on a long trade will always be the weekly trading zone overhead. On a short, the weekly trading zone below will be the final trade 2 target. So these are both longs, Dow, S&P, and then we got to the opening Sunday night. And I'll just go through these real quick because we went through them yesterday. Long on the S&P, same thing, buy, initial target, potential resistance, second target, weekly trading zone, final trade 2 target. Long on the Russell. This is a long on the Dow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 targets. In Q, the number you see in parentheses, that's where when Valerie comes through to do the recap, that's whatever the swing high or swing low was off of that move at the time. Now, she comes through and does the recap. If that's the current swing high or swing low, we put that in the recap as a point of reference. But you have to check your chart because the move may have continued and, you know, traded substantially higher or lower, depending on if it's a long or a short. Here's crude oil. Here's gold. This is a long. Everything's been a long so far. Okay. This one, because the weekly trading zone was so close, we were long 1819, initial target 1820. This was a weekly trading zone. And then we had other levels right above at 22, 29, and then finally the weekly trading zone. Okay. Here's long on silver. Stop out on silver. Gold, a long again. Okay. That's Sunday night. We did all that Sunday night before Wall Street even wakes up. Now when the clock hits midnight here, Mountain Standard Time, Telegram reads the clock on your computer. So where I'm showing Mountain Standard, if you're on the East Coast, you'll show East Coast. If you're on the West Coast, you'll show Pacific. If you are on the trial, it's very important that you have access to Telegram because we have around the clock discussion. The alerts come out around the clock. There's 2 hours in the morning in the room, but it doesn't end there. We are literally open around the clock from Sunday night at 6 p.m. to Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. So now we're 4 minutes into Monday, 12:04 a.m. Mountain Standard. That's 2:04 a.m. Eastern. So we're 1 hour ahead of the London Open. Okay. Long on the S&P, long on the Dow, long on the Russell, long on crude oil, stop out on gold, a stop out on silver, long on the Russell. There's initial target, second target, final trade to target, short on the NQ, stop out on the S&P, stop out on the Dow. Now here, Valerie made a note about the second trigger. Most of the alerts trigger multiple times. If an alert triggers once, there's a greater probability of it triggering 2, 3, 4 times than not triggering again. On a day where we have a very strong directional move, it may only trigger once, but in most cases, once an alert triggers, you can anticipate that it will trigger again. And on the second, third, and fourth triggers, you'll quite often find that based upon our 3-step method for placing the stop, it will require less risk than the first trigger and provide you with greater profit potential. Here's a long on crude oil, long on silver, long on the NQ, long on the Russell, long on gold, and this one, Valerie had to fix it because I messed it up. 64.56. So I did 2 back to back. Okay, my apology. Thank you for fixing that. Stop out on the S&P. Okay, short on the Dow. SSL, B is buy, SSL, initial target. Now this, on a short, the second target will be called potential support. Potential support. Final trade to target. No trigger on the NQ. No trigger on crude. Short on gold. Now we have a short and a long. Market's in a position where it can go either way. And as futures traders, we love them for a lot of reasons. One, because they trade around the clock. And number 2, you can be long, you can be short in the same hour if that's what the chart dictates. Because we trade what's in front of us, not what we think should be in front of us. So there was an opportunity to go long and to go short in the same market. Now with stocks, you have uptick rules, all kinds of things. Futures, you don't have to worry. There's no issue there. Long on the NQ, short on silver, short on gold, stop out on crude, long on the S&P, long on the Dow, long on the Russell, long on the NQ, long on crude oil, long on silver. Okay, that brings us to February the 10th, which is today. Short on the S&P, still waiting. Short on the Dow, still waiting, still waiting. Long on crude oil, still waiting. And short on silver. Okay, so now that you've seen the individual alerts, that puts this in context. 54 total alerts, 7 never triggered, still waiting on 4, 43 actionable, 7 stopped out, 16%. The average week will be 20%. So on the daily chart of the S&P, it's the first place you want to look. If you trade any of the index futures, S&P, Dow, Russell, NQ, S&P is considered the bellwether, okay? So going there and determining where important resistance is overhead and important support is below will help you as you drop down to the smaller time frame to place your trades. Now what we're looking at here, we have a new, we had to do this yesterday, so now we got to do it again today. Yesterday we had a doji, okay, and the high Monday was 39.11 and a quarter. Yesterday the high was 39.13 and a quarter. So we put in a 2-point higher high. Remember, this is the daily chart. So we had to adjust the fibs to encompass the higher high. Now, today, the Wednesday session, which began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we have a higher high. So we have to take our fibs, and if you just hover over it right there till it turns green, hold down your left mouse button, pull it up. Fibs are an area. Just like weekly trading zones are an area. Sometimes price will turn right at the 24% fib, or right at the 38 or the 50 or the 62, but often it will not. It will trade, it will turn just before it gets there, or it might spike it a little bit. Now let me shrink this up so you can see the whole thing. Now this low, that hasn't changed. That won't change because that's the low. And so we connect this low to the new all-time historic intraday high. Now we have a new all-time historic intraday high, but we may not have an all-time historic closing high. We have a, see, the low yesterday was 38.95. Today's low is 38.78 and a quarter. So what that means, we have a higher high and a lower low. Now that's called an outside day or a bearish engulfing candle. I'll blow it back up so you can see it real close. But what I want you to see is based on this low and this new all-time historic intraday high, the 38% Fibonacci retracement is down here. Now, this wasn't the 38% fib when we had it here. Let me just show you. If I pull it back down to yesterday's high, now see how close this was, but when this pullback happened, this high wasn't in place. When this pullback happened right here, the high was right there. So you would take your fib and you would, this is what it looked like if you go back to this daily broadcast, January 26th, when we put in that high, okay, and we drew fibs. Price came down to the 24% fib, bounced up 30 points. The next session opened, came down, hit the 24% fib again, bounced all the way up to red and falling, which is, we expect that to be good resistance, and it was. It sent us back below the BBC. Okay, it was on this day, February the 2nd, that we got back above the BBC. That's the green line, stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses below it, we're bearish, we anticipate lower prices. When we're above it, we're bullish, we anticipate higher prices. It's that simple. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to move this back up to the current high. Now that's your fib retracement. So now the 24% fib retracement is right here at 37.62. The 38% Fibonacci retracement is right here at 36.58. Now this is a compelling area because it just so happens that because of today's high and where the 38% Fibonacci retracement is, we had a swing low here, we had a swing low here, support, support, and so if price Okay, get below the step line, get below blue and climbing, get below the BBC. The shallowest possible Fibonacci retracement from where we are now is here at 3762. If we get through the 3762, that will be good support. Now, on the way down, we also expect a touch of the blue and climbing to give us a bounce. BBC will give us most likely a very nice bounce. As you can see, all these pullbacks on the way up. The last time we closed below the BBC was November the 3rd until this day here, January 27th. And so we closed 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions below the BBC. Now we've been back above it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is our 7th session. So again, yesterday's low was 38.95. Closing below that today, bearish. But support is waiting right here. You can see at 38.60 is where blue and climbing is on the daily chart. Now, even though we don't trade off of the daily chart, these are important numbers so that when you go to the smaller time frame, you know where major support and major resistance is. The support that you find on the 30-minute chart, that's minor support. Okay? But major relative to the time frame that you're trading off of. So we had an alert last night. This is a great example. Logic alert to be long 39.15. The initial target was 39.17. You can see it right here. The second target was 39.23. And the swing high right there is 39.24. So we triggered, and then we got back below, and then we triggered again. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. This is a great example of that. So we hit the initial target and then some, got back below the trigger, made a run up to 39.21 half. We then pulled back to the BBC. The pullback holds more often than it doesn't. And so as we pull back, we expect this to be good support, and it was. It sent us up 1 point above the second target, okay, at 39.23. And then we come back again to the BBC. Price always reverts to the mean. And so price bounces from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance. Red and falling, always think of that as resistance. Bearish. Blue and climbing is bullish, support. And so after this pullback right here, price gets pinched between red and falling and the BBC. So there's an hour and a half, very small candles, price getting ready to make its move. And now this move happened at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. We put in a swing high at 39.28 and a half. The final trade to target is 39.30/31. That's weekly trading zone. On a long, the final trade to target will be the zone overhead. On a short, it will be the zone below. Now the zone below us is at 3900/3901. The zone down here is 3877/3878. Okay, the zones are published Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. We've published them for our members since December 14th, 2009. So as price came through the zone, and as I teach you, when a The only three things happen at a zone. Consolidation, most likely. Rejection, second most likely. The slice is the third and least likely, but it does happen. When we have a slice, price slices through like the zone's not even there. When that move runs out of steam, price will most often retrace back to the zone that it sliced through and then continue in the direction of the slice, which it did to the zone below. So you got a zone here at 77/78. You got a zone here 3900/3901. So we slice through that zone, we pull back up to it, and then we continue in the direction of the slice all the way to the zone below. Now today's Wednesday, but the zones were given to our members Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. This is why it's so very important when the new zones come out on Monday morning, get them on your chart, but hang on to last week's zones, because the previous weekly zones will hold sway over the market Sunday night, Monday into Tuesday, and by Wednesday the new zones have taken hold, but the new zones are important as soon as they come out, so get them on your chart. So what do? We bounced from this zone all the way back up. So from 78 to 3900, what is that? 22 points. At $50 a point, that's a little over $1,000 per contract if you took the trade, if you traded from zone to zone. Okay, 1,000 down, 1,000 back up. Now this is consolidation. That's the most likely thing you'll find at a zone, but it's very wide-ranging consolidation. So what do we expect to happen next? What's the next high probability move? Okay, price is at red and falling. Buyers are trying to get us, back above this area, 3900/01. If buyers can get us above, then we would anticipate a move up to the BBC. Price always reverts to the mean. We expect to find resistance there. Once that happens, then there'll be an alert in the channel with entry, targets, etc. And the final trade to target will, of course, be the zone. If buyers are not committed enough to get us above this area, okay, which just so happens to be at a trend line from earlier in the week, then the move will be to the downside. So there's windows of opportunity. There's one here, here, and then here. This is an old weekly zone. And then here. Okay. As we're talking with David, I'll map these out. Let me check, because he's probably here. Hey, David Grant. Okay, let me get your mic open. And after we talk to David, I'll run through the rest of the markets, guys. We'll look at the Dow, the Russell, the NQ, all of them. Stand by, David. I'm looking for you. There you are. Okay. You're muted on your end. All you got to do is open your mic, and I'll make you the presenter at the same time. All right. There we go. You're going to have to click accept. There it is. I can see your screen. I don't hear you yet.
Okay. Well, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time zone we're in today. Good to hear you. Watching you trade there, Dwayne, it's always kind of fun for me to come in and remember back in the day for when I was doing, just doing Forex and crypto and that, but the principles still apply all throughout.
Yes.
And nice having that little refresher.
Yeah. The principles are the same, whether you're trading futures or stocks or crypto, Forex. These are auction-style markets with buyers on the bid, sellers on the ask, price channeling back and forth. So, great observation on your part, and welcome to the show.
And it's really, really good to be here. I really enjoyed what you were doing last week with Bruce Hughes on Friday, and because he was talking about the ecosystem we have, and especially within all of the buzz is out there right now, isn't it, on Bitcoin? It's gone, it's going to go right through the roof and really never coming back again. So pretty valuable. But hearing Bruce talk about it in his very, really clear way, the way he explains stuff that so that I understand it, lay people can understand it, and then explaining our project that we're working with. We're actually in a project that actually utilizes Bitcoin in a utility form. We're utilizing Ethereum in a utility form, and then we have an actual utility coin called G999. And he was able to explain all of that. I got a lot from that interview, very inspired by it as well. So that was fabulous. And
I'm really glad you enjoyed it. And for those of you that may have missed that interview with Bruce from the official Price Maker channel on Telegram, that was last Friday. And so if you go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN, just look for last Friday's broadcast, and it's got Bruce's name in there. You can click on that, and he didn't get logged in. He was scheduled to come on at 1 p.m. Eastern, but I think it was closer to 1:30 Eastern. So you don't have to watch the entire show. You can just fast forward up to, I think it's the 1 hour and 40 minute mark, or 1 hour and 38 minutes. That's when he got logged on and we got started talking. So you don't have to, watch the entire broadcast. Just if you want to hear what Bruce had to say, and I think you should for all the reasons that David just said. It was a good interview. And for those of you that have been following the official Price Maker channel, it's sort of a go-to spot for what the strategy is to see price appreciate with G999. David, and of course Saturday mornings we have a meeting. It's at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And David is usually there. He presents, and Kathy and Paul are there, Don, all the regulars. And so for those of you that are part of the Golden Journey, I really encourage you to come to those Saturday morning meetings. It's not a big, splashy, corporate type event. The meetings that corporate has, there's a lot of glitz and glamour on Saturday mornings. This group inside of a much larger group, the Golden Journey group, it's kind of just down to earth. You feel like you're just hanging out. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm hanging out with friends having coffee on a Saturday morning. So I really appreciate all the work that you guys do. And they keep a Zoom room open most of the day. So anytime you have questions or need help, you can always click that link. I've got it in several Telegram channels. You can find it on Telegram in the 1022 channel. It's pinned to the top. You just click that link and it'll take you to the Zoom room. And usually Paul and Kathy are there. Both of them or one of them. And they're there for the sole purpose of helping you understand what's going on, what it means to you, how you can get involved. You can open a free account. There's no obligation, no credit card required. You can watch, listen, ask questions, learn, and then make an intelligent, well-informed decision, what's right for you. So David, I know you've got stuff you probably want to cover here today. You don't want to just hear me talk. In fact, we want to hear you talk, so take it away.
Well, it's thank you for the way you were commenting about it. We just want to make it really just coming into people's living room and have that casual conversation on Saturday. We get, we're bringing out key points. But as we know, those who are listening today, who are learning trading or become very good at trading, it can become a very lonely world as well. But there's also a big part of it where we really want people to understand the value of how we connect and community with it. And repetition is the key to learning. Doesn't matter whether it's trading or even learning the process of how we strategically build our community. The repetition is very, very valuable, because first time you hear something new, it doesn't, it's kind of like we're a hard sponge. We're not we don't have anything to soak that new information in. We have to have it dripped on. Eventually that sponge gets a little more saturated, and then you can pour a whole bunch on it, and it starts making sense. But you gotta really give yourself that repetition side of it. We try to keep it not like we're not duplicating in each meeting. They kind of have a free flowing experience that we want to have. We want to create stories and tell the stories of what's happening in our community. This platform that we're using with GS Partners and with our G999 coin combined with Bitcoin and Ethereum, it is a network marketing platform, but really we're not doing network marketing. We're doing community building using a network marketing platform. So does that make sense when I say it that way,
it does.
Dwayne?
And I think that expresses the heart of it. There is the networking model, but it is community building. It's reaching out and touching people and connecting people and bringing people together. And at the end of the day, the whole effort is about making the world a better place, giving people opportunity who, based upon their situation, their circumstances, their geographical location, any number of factors, might never have an opportunity to be, financially successful in life. In fact, many of the people that I've seen who are part of the Golden Journey are people who might, spend most of their time thinking more about where the next meal is going to come from, as opposed to being financially sufficient. And the Golden Journey is bridging that gap, and it's making that possible for some of these people. And that's so powerful.
It's the greatest joy, pleasure I've ever been involved in. I've done some really cool stuff over the years, from starting out in an apprenticeship as a tool and die maker to going off to Bible school and pastoring for a decade, and then moving on to teaching English overseas in Korea for 3 years. I went back a few years later and taught another year there. Taught in community college, ESL, without all of the master's degree that they often use, but I was a casual there. But I had 3 years of actual experience versus coming out fresh out of the school, and I was able to have amazing experiences really around the world, because I had a class one time, Dwayne, of I had somebody from Mongolia. I had a couple from China. It was in that class. It was kind of a unique class. It was special. Somebody from Congo.
Wow.
We had Saudi Arabia. In the class. Italy in the class. And
you don't speak all those different languages yourself, right?
Oh my goodness, no.
So how does that work? If when you aren't able to communicate with someone in their language, how do you teach them English? I mean, just a thumbnail sketch here. How does that work?
Well, I mean, a lot of my class, I had beginner classes where you have the book, and you're just working through methodically with them. It's more a little bit of practice, and but I learned from, like, when I was in Korea, I was teaching kindergarten right through to people with running MBA programs, like the dean of an MBA.
I bet those young kids were probably easier to teach than the adults.
Oh, absolutely. And what happens, I would get I would have when I actually taught in Korea at a university, which was and the kids coming in had learned English for about 12 years, and they were still at a beginner level. And the term I use for it might be a term out there, but I called it fossilized, where they had learned how not to learn English. And so breaking that was really that was a hard goal. Like you said, I had grade 2 students who were writing beautiful paragraphs for me, grammatically perfect. Parents were loving what we were able to do in that. And so that was a lot of fun. I learned so much about all of the learning styles, all of the age groups. Like if I was to I could write a master's thesis on that experience I had. It was that lush. Where else do you get to teach the same material to every age group in the same day? And I was doing that, just the way the unique situation I was in. And then I was able to come back to Canada and teach at that community college. And so when all of this crew came in, I had 3 years of experience, which was better than 4 years of degree learning with no experience. So, I taught, and I was able to say things, and they couldn't believe I was able to do some of the things I was doing with my classes and that. And, and we'd get hot topic subjects. Is it okay to lie? And my buddy John, he was in the class, and he was out of Congo, and David, it is never okay to lie. And the Chinese were like, hey, what's the deal here? What's the problem? It was like saving face is what you do. And if you got to lie to save face for somebody, of course you would lie to protect who they were or whatever in that. And so, but we were able to do that without having a big kerfuffle or a big battleground or anything like that, because we did it with respect and listening. And because, the key to learning is listening, not telling to everybody else what they are supposed to think. So we did a lot of listening. It was wonderful. The young guy out of Mongolia, he, for whatever reason, I don't understand the cultural dynamics there, but he was really pretty much shunned from the other members from China. And so he was, he spoke, whether it was Mandarin or something like that, I forget. But they wouldn't talk to him. They didn't like him. He was kind of an outcast. And he actually did way better learning English because he had to go find some friends and the only friends he could find were English speaking. So he did better because people cluster together in their familiar groups and they never break out of it. So he practiced better and did better, even though they were giving him a hard time, kind of shunning him. He thrived in our environment, and we just methodically worked it through. I had no skill at teaching English. You grow up and it's just your normal. I didn't know what an adverb was or a verb, or I did know what a verb was, but I'd asked the university graduates who had come into a school. It was a big school we had, and they were cute as anything. My dad, I was the old guy there, and I'd say, hey, tell me what an adverb is, and they'd be like, I got my degree, I don't know what an adverb is, because until you learn a second language, you often don't learn your grammar well. And so we had to, everybody was learning as we went there. We progressed. I almost went home after my first 2 weeks there. I had a kindergarten class that was going to take my life away from me because I had no idea what to do with them. But I was there with my wife, thank goodness, and she's the master of teaching kindergarten, grade 1. She's done it for years, bilingual French and English, and we were able to bring her skills to me. I could work with adults and that because I'd done that pastoring, teaching, and that, but those little guys, wow, if you don't have a plan, they have a plan for you. I'll tell you that real quick. They really do take a life of its own in the classroom. And I was ready to say, okay, hon, we're going home. This is too much for me with these little guys. It was, and I learned and I learned and I learned. I was teaching kindergarten some days and going to university teaching at, I just had so many wonderful experiences, so many wonderful friendships going. I came back from there and brought back a number of Korean boys to teach as a homestay experience. And the parents were like, well, we want to send our middle school boys home with you. And I said, no, I don't want to do middle school. I want to do grade 4s and 5s because my classroom experience had taught me probably the ideal age learning for learning a second language was both grade 4 and 5. They just absorb things without middle school. You got all that social pressure and peer pressure that, it's like their brain's not ready. Like it's like too much going on for them. Grade 4 and 5, they just kind of dug in, and these boys came with math skills that were grade 10 or 11 level compared to the Canadian kids. And so they had a nice comfort zone. We would send them to a public school and then come home, and I would tutor at home with them. Very rich environment with it all. And those boys I'm friends with them to this day, and their English remained because they got it so strong with being in a good environment. And we had a lot of fun together doing that. But it gave me a rich world, those experiences.
You brought 4 kids from Korea back to the U.S. to live here with you. Wow, that's quite that's quite a commitment on your part.
Yeah, it was a business. They were paying me good money to bring their kids in, and Koreans had no problem. They would the average Korean will spend 30% of their income from pretty much the age of their child being kindergarten and up. 30% of their income will go into that child's education.
Wow.
And I mean, you talk about a culture that honors and respects education. You want, like, they are second to none, as far as I can tell. And so
that's kind
like
of a stereotype. We always hear that, Asians are very good in math.
Mm-hmm.
And most
Well, they're really
stereotypes
good at math
exist for a reason.
Well, I mean, they like they're going to school in the day, and then they go to school till once you get into middle school age and up, they're going to school till midnight. So
Really? Wow,
public school in the day and tutoring schools all evening, from science to math to English, and they just shuffle off to the next one. They get 4 or 5 hours sleep, and then they start again the next day.
With the goal, I mean, their parents are driving them because they want them to become a doctor or whatever.
Yep. Yeah. And so we talk about Korea, on other shows as well, but it's been that rich environment for me, where it's learning and growing with it all, and understanding the cultural differences. I would take little kids who were, kind of acting up in class, and I'd bring them over to me, and I said, "Look me in the eye," kind of thing, right? I was going to give them, kind of a pep talk, discipline kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I violated every cultural value doing that, because for them to look into an adult's eyes was just taboo. And I was using my cultural values of eye-to-eye contact and asking them to break their cultural value of a child not doing that. And so many nuance with learning, but it really equipped me within my classroom in Canada with all this diversity there, to teach in such a way that we created harmony in the classroom, respecting the differences, listening instead of, "Oh, you should do it this way," or "should do it." No, we're listening. I used it I called it a hot topic class. It was a nice upper intermediate class, so we could have some really cool conversations. I learned so much from them. And so that that background has really equipped me to create something for the world, and if you will, and our team, our community of through the Golden Journey is a very, very diverse team. And I think some of that seed was planted in me and others that have joined us. And you have a rich background around the world as well. There's something about travel and seeing the world that opens you beyond your own little borders and your own little cultural things and that. So that's also built into what we're doing with this, where when I say cooperatively connecting humanity, I really do mean it. We have all of our groups we have mixes from Uganda and Canada and Costa Rica and Chile and Peru and I don't know, Pakistan. I think we're in about 50 countries right now since beginning December 1st is when we started. And it's been a marvelous run, but I wanted for years and years and years to create a business model that was no one left behind, no one marginalized. If you can care, and we do care for 87-year-old grandmothers who are thriving in our system, 100-year-old grandmother thriving in our system. We have a number of people in our group, in our community, who have just gone through, tragic losses of a spouse and going through the heartache of that. And they're able to come and not have to do anything, but still great value. In fact, we were on a call earlier today where this gal who had just gone through this, really tragic loss in the midst of COVID. So, you're grieving and you can't even go out your door. This is in the UK. Really, really hard. Can't go to your job just to kind of give yourself something to do. Very, very difficult time. And in the midst of that, we grew a beautiful business for her. She's on the call with us, opened up her account, and there was actually quite a bit of value in the Bitcoin and Ethereum sitting in her account. And she had her friend on the call with us, and we use a pay it forward model. And she just took some of that Ethereum she had and put it into her friend's account and got her package. And that, because as we thrive, we want other people to thrive and have a positive experience. So in the midst of her grieving, we built a business for her. And now she's working with us and very closely developing in her own right. She's always been a leader in different things she's done, but now she has found some possibilities in the midst of, I think, one of the, this economic crisis. The world has never seen what's really going to happen from a global basis. We've had regional crisis, but nothing like what's coming. The storm is coming. We think maybe we're in the storm, but there's a huge storm coming for those who are following the economy. And
we haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah.
I mean, the aftershocks of this are going to be absolutely, I'm sad to say, huge.
Yeah. I was talking with, because being involved in this type of a business, you meet a lot of new people. One gal I was talking to the other day, they said, well, the storm's already got here. We had our RSP. We'd looked at the numbers last year, and it had about 70K in that particular one. And they looked at it last week, and it was worth $1,800. And a lot of their investment had been in what you would say was kind of a really safe place to be: baby food, diapers, and children's clothes. Like, that just seems like something you can't go wrong on from a growth perspective.
That's something people are always going to need. Was it a particular company that failed with their business model, or was it a sector type thing, or?
It was a kind of a sector side, but what happened was supply chains got broken down, and so there was all kinds of things that nobody, it's like restaurants are closing doors because they can't stay open with the the lockdowns that had happened. All of that was there, and that really impacted that particular area very directly, surprisingly. And remember back in March we had everybody out getting every piece of toilet paper they could find. And
they say if the big trucks, which kind of are the lifeblood of America, and I'm guessing to whatever degree it's true in other countries, but if the big trucks, the semis you see on the freeway, on the interstate, if they stopped moving, the average American metropolitan city like Phoenix, where I'm at as an example, in 3 days, just 3 days, the grocery store shelves would be empty.
Yep, absolutely. I had a friend,
and we've seen how people behave when they're confronted with empty shelves. They're not kind to one another,
No, it's harsh out there at times, because fear turns into anger sometimes. It can either withdraw or get into a fight mode. Just depends on how it hits. And so fear is, fight, flight, or freeze is what fear does. It's really important if you're getting chased down by a tiger out in the savannah somewhere. But typically fear is something that is toxic to our body, because all of our extremity, when fear is in operation, all of your energy goes to your arms and your legs, so you can do something with that fear to get out of the burning building or whatever, but this fear is working on people not in that moment of time, it's working on them 24/7 right now. Well, that toxicity is just crushing for people who are living there with no way out. And so we're coming along with what we're doing and saying, come into Safe Harbor with us and learn about this new world. And there's a lot of openness now, intrigue, still fear, but we come in a zero risk model is what we've created for people. As we connect, a little bit of Bitcoin and Ethereum starts flowing into their accounts. And just that hope of something, we place people we have a very, very specific way of doing this and really sharing within our team. It really is a cooperative model, probably best illustrated by this next slide I'll bring up here, in that where we're looking at how we understand abundance. And abundance for us is about people. And abundance for us is about how we interact with each other. Abundance is, it's got money involved, but it really isn't about stuff. It's about that. And I highlight this all the time because we've got to get a better view of money. People are trying to build bigger barns right now. How much, I know the storm is coming. How much can I stash away? And, too bad what my neighbor is doing or whatever. I'm going to take care of me and mine, and that's that. Well,
I wrote a short piece the other night, David, and I sent that to you, I think, in Messenger. I don't know if you ever had a chance to read it, but I talked about how we're at a place in time right now. Reminds me of what I've read in history back in the days of the Rockefellers and all of the ones, the great legends, the Carnegies, the Mellons, those who, built the railroads, and their names are, still powerful names today. They control an incredible amount of wealth. We've all heard about the great transfer of wealth, and I really do believe we're standing at that point in time. And so people are going to be those who understand what that even means, who understand technology, who are capable of, most people, even though they've heard of Bitcoin now, they don't even know how, they don't know how to buy any. They don't know how to open an account. And so those who are in the know, who understand, who are able to take advantage of this, you can, as what you just said, you can make it, you can store it, and when the barn gets full, build another barn. Or there's another way to approach it. And I know that's what you're getting ready to talk about, so please go ahead.
Absolutely. And I mean, the one, and the bigger barn, I mean, like when you think about it, this is the most beautiful way of thinking of a bigger barn, where maybe this is a new build, or maybe the barn burned down. This is an Amish community. For those that are just listening in right now, we're looking at a barn raising within an Amish community, taking 2-3 days aside, economically bringing wealth to this family. Like, you look at the manpower there, like you had to hire that out, that would cost you a pretty penny. And but for that was a normal way of living for them, and this exists to this very day within that community. I was also exposed to when I was a tool and die maker. I had a friend, and he was an Eastern European background, and when they got married, he was given enough money as gifts at the wedding thing to go buy a house, literally. And I said, "Wow, how does that work?" And he said, "Well, the way it actually works is 10 years from now, I've had my house paid for right from the get-go, so I'm doing really, really well. And then 10 years from now, when I go to a wedding and I'm doing well, Uncle Joe is going to come and tell me, hey, you're popping in 10 grand for this wedding. And you did it because they weren't working out of debt. They were working out of cooperation, a community side of it. And they said, why would we do debt when we can share with each other? And that was an eye-opener for me. And then this idea of the barn raising, sharing cooperatively, giving to each other. A lot of our giving models are not really thriving models, if you will. They're like you give, and then next day you need it again and again and again. It's not sustainable what happens. And a lot of our
that piece that I wrote that I sent to you is that well-meaning Americans and Europeans, we have enslaved the African people for hundreds of years through generosity, because we don't know what else to do. We pray for them and we write a check. And so as opposed to teaching them how to be self-sufficient, educating them, providing them with working business models where they can, because when you teach a man any method, any skill, whatever the case might be, where he can go out and earn a good living and provide for his family, he holds his head up, he has dignity, he then instills those traits into his children, and it continues from generation to generation to generation. Sadly, although we meant well, we've created generations of people in Africa who are just standing there with their hand out, waiting for the American to make another donation, send another check. And that model, it's wrong. It's not biblical. And we need to change the way we help people.
We really do. There's good books out there. You can read, like When Helping Hurts or Dead Age. There's a number of them out there talking about those very things. So it really does. How do we do this, and how do we sow into people's lives? And quite frankly, we figured it out. We have a model that actually has figured out how to take a 100-year-old grandma and make her viable in of all things, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and G999. Like, imagine that. But she'll have a grandson or an aunt or not, somebody along the line will be able to help her figure this thing out in the future. It's we're still sowing into this right now, but cash flow positive right now. And like, who does, tell you today you had Bitcoin in your account of $100, well, that means in December it's worth 500 more than likely the way things are going. I'm not a financial, I'm not licensed financial financial advice or anything like that. But I think if you're reading the tea leaves on what's going on in the economy and hearing when Elon Musk comes in big with a 1.5 billion to buy Bitcoin, when he's opening up Teslas to be bought with Bitcoin or thing, he's smart. Hey, give me your Bitcoin today for my Tesla. And so he makes his profit on the car, and then 5 months, 6 months from now, he's quadrupled his money that same car.
Exactly.
And so literally that's what we are experiencing right now. And we get to get people.
Why would I want to get paid for my product in fiat currency, which is consistently losing value on a daily basis, when I could get paid in something that is, gaining in value, maybe not every day. I mean, there's a healthy bull market in anything is filled with retracements and pullbacks. I mean, that's what keeps the bull healthy. But now some would say, well, that's an incredible leap of faith, because even though the US dollar is becoming worth less and less and less, the more the Fed prints and prints and prints, it's still the US dollar. And people have a hard time coming out of their comfort zone. And so our generation was raised with the dollar. But kids in school today, at university level, they're already teaching courses on blockchain and cryptocurrency. And I don't know if it's filtered down to the high school level yet or not. But there are kids in high school right now that I believe when they get out of school and get their first job, they'll have the option of being paid in Bitcoin or US dollar or some other type of cryptocurrency.
We're literally doing this in our business. We are a true crypto-only business where you buy packages with us, and it's just we're in pre-launch right now, full launch come March 15th, and they just keep adding and adding. And I had a little messenger chat with Alex Cochindo, who is the chief technical officer. He's the kind of the brainiac behind all of this stuff. Beautiful young guy, about 32 years old, with just these whippersnappers that are changing the world from a technology
standpoint. He's the guy that's on a lot of the corporate calls, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And very calm, cool, collected, big heart, lovely spirit about him and everything he does. But man, he is delivering the goods. I've never been in a system that's launching, that's getting so many things right out of the gate for us. So it's been really beautiful. But he's saying, hey, and I'm saying, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for the tools you're giving me to bring to our community, and just, really just gratitude. And I get a little teary sometimes. I don't know why. And he says to me, well, you know what? We haven't even started yet with what I'm going to be showing you. And it was like, my goodness, I'm happy now. Mm-hmm. I don't need more to do well. And it's like, well, it's just, we're at the front end of magnificent. Go back and listen to Bruce Hughes talk about G999. This thing's just going to go through the roof, and we're getting it at, we're getting what Bitcoin was 10 years ago. That's what G999 is today. And it's like you get in on the ground floor. And in the meantime, storing and getting paid in Bitcoin and Ethereum instantly. Like when a purchase is made in our system, 9 levels of people got paid in the same 10 seconds that it took for the purchase to go through. And it's marvelous with what that's doing. And it just lights everybody up because, who doesn't want to see money kind of popping into your account on your dashboard and that. So that's where I want to flow to next, just to show, again, how we place people in this and also how a little bit of the commissions work within it, because it's very valuable when you can connect people and Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm listening to some beautiful, Bitcoin advocates out there, and they talk about making your investment, getting in, almost, really difficult entry points for people who have no background in this. And it's not hard once you've done it a few times, but that first round is really challenging for people who have no background in it. And our system actually brings people in a name and an email and a phone number, and you're into the crypto world, just like that. And then you can learn from
guys,
the inside.
you actually heard him correctly. You can open an account and it's free. You can get involved and it doesn't cost you anything. There's no obligation. You don't have to have a credit card. It's an invitation to, take a look, learn more, ask questions. Not only ask questions, but get answers to your questions. None of us can predict the future. None of us knows what's going to happen next. Of course, lots of people try to impress you by saying things like, we're definitely moving up from here unless we start to break down. So when I come back tomorrow, guess what? I was right. We're definitely moving up from here unless we start to break down. I'm a genius. Please go on.
So, people like looking at charts and how money works and all of that. And we use this 2x2 model. Actually, the system really kind of nudges people to try to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at that level 1 side that you're looking at there. Level 1 is just got a 2 beside it because that's how we build. And it's the only model. You go beyond 2 and you're going to increase your effort 300%. Anything beyond 2 increases your effort by 300% with giving you a 97% failure rate. Jesus talked about when he fed the 5,000, they sent out the bread and the fish to everybody, and beautiful story. But what did he say to them after? Go gather all of the leftovers, if you will, right, and let's collect them and make sure that it continues to flow out to people. We don't bring anybody in our community that we do not have a full working knowledge that they will thrive. Like, we do not work on a 97% failure rate. I will not say 100% because, that's but our probability for success for somebody has increased so dramatically. It's night and day. And all it took was to respect our humanity, which does everything in 2s. You're hard to buy a car. Remember back in the day, you'd buy a car with a bench seat in the front seat, and you could put 3 there if you wanted to. It's hard to find a car now that you could put 3 across in the front seat because they figured out we want a nice, comfortable seat for the passenger and for the driver because that's the way we drive around. Restaurants are designed to, seat in 2s across. Even if it's 2 couples, it's going to be 2 and 2. Everything is based on 2, and then you come into some of the networking models, and they want to drive numbers big with 3 times 3 or 4 times 4, and I've used all of those models. I have 12 years of background in this, but my first foray into this networking world was I was trying to figure out how to do 2 times 2, but I didn't have a compensation plan that could really make it flourish, and these guys have delivered. The chart you're looking at here, Dwayne, is my chart. I'm not the top dog in our community. I have 3 people. Kathy is Kathy above, or Kathy, then Don, then Paul, then me, and then many others coming through. And Dwayne, you're part of this, and how we're building. And so I'm at like 500 people in the last since December 1, or almost 500. Kathy's almost 800, and Don's just under that, 700 and some, and Paul, and then we have lots of 250s, 200s, 100s. But don't get lost in those numbers that I'm throwing at us. This is the practice we're doing is everyone will get there. It takes a little bit of time, but we ended up with a great launch. But look at this chart. This is maybe one of the better ways that I have for trying to explain why you want to do what we do. Because you see at the top there on my side there, you see a 2 on level 1. So that's it. I've enrolled, 40 or 50 people personally, but I've sewn them into my village. I call my 1022 my village, my team, my group, my community. And it's our community, really is the only way to I'm using the word my, but it's our community. And you're a big part of our community, Dwayne. And so that 18% though looks really lush at the top there. And people would say, well, if I do 2 or 3, if I do 3, I'll get 18%, I'll get 4 at 18%, 5 at 18%, but how are you going to support them? They can go get their 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the people know in the network marketing industry, 70% of people will never even bring in one person at the
And
start.
I think that's probably a generous figure there.
Yeah. So
It's difficult.
but I look
really
at
is.
it.
It sounds so good, but yeah. And I know. Did you have a chance to watch that TV show or listen to that podcast that I mentioned to you?
No, I've got to get back to it. I've just been,
I know you're
I'm
incredibly
pretty
busy, but the podcast is called The Dream, Season 1, and then the TV show is called On Becoming a God in Central Florida. And when I stumbled across it, a podcast that I listen to on a regular basis, the host mentioned that he had watched it, so I just thought I'd check it out. And I spent practically 2 days back to back watching the entire first season, 10 episodes or whatever it was, because while I dabbled in network marketing with a 3D camera back in, gosh, I guess it was the late 80s, perhaps. Yeah, probably late 80s. This 3D camera came out, and when you looked at the pictures, it kind of made your head hurt. But everyone swore that was going to be the next big thing, that was going to be the future of photography. And I rented the hotel rooms, and I ran ads in the paper, and not hotel rooms, but conference rooms in hotels, ran the ads, get 50, 100 people in the room and pitch my little heart out. And, pretty soon the scales fell from my eyes, and I realized that there was, that I already had a job. I ran a company that was making me good money, and that I really needed to just get my attention back on, the business that I was running. And it wasn't for me. It just wasn't. So this is completely different.
It literally is hardly for anybody. And even the ones, the 3% that do well with it, they usually bounce from one company to another to keep the new energy of whatever the next best thing is. And that, but again, let's look at this chart here with our commission model, because it became, my eyes popped when I saw them this the first time back in end of November, launching December 1. My eyes popped because I've never seen one where the level 7, 8, and 9 had 3, 4, and 6%.
Yeah, I'm
And
noticing that from 18 it goes down to 4 to 3 to 2 to 2 to 2, and then it starts going back up again. Interesting.
Yeah. And the reason the design is there, because network marketers design it this way, because they know they might get somebody come in, they might get excited, and they'll get a couple of people under them, which would be level 2, and they may get somebody else at level 3, and then it pretty much just fizzles out if they even get level 2 and level 3. So they've kept, and then the rest of the percentages, where do they go? They go up. And so this is kind of designed for network marketers and kind of tempt everybody to kind of go wide, they call it, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. Oh, he's a rock star. He's got 100, 500 and all of that. But look down below here. I'm at level 9 with 54 people there. That's going to go to 512 people over the next month or two. And I like 6% of 500, like my goal is 512. 6% of 512 people is way, way better than 18% of even 10 people, 20 people.
Right.
It's just way better, but it's not just 6% on 512, it's 4% on 256. And I got a community that's a buzz talking about making money that they've never done before, never succeeded before. And so when somebody comes in just, curious or even disgruntled, but, disillusioned perhaps, just over different experiences they've had or whatever, and that they come in, sometimes they're not ready even to share with a friend. They don't have to in our system. We just keep building and growing it because we sow into our teams. Like I said, I sowed into my community here with different people I brought in, and now they're all thriving and making money. When people thrive and make money and they feel better, then they start sharing. Why do we have to have people sharing right out the gate? Like only those who, kind of the people who like direct sales can do that. But most people aren't wired for that. Well, I don't want to leave the grandmas along behind. I don't want to leave a young millennial who's just starting out and, green as grass with this. I don't want to leave anybody behind. I don't want to leave. I can work with the Kathy in our group, she's a 25-year history of teaching the deaf and blind. We don't leave anybody behind. We don't leave them behind. We just won't. And this system lets us not just talk the talk, we walk the walk. Like we really, really do bring it home for people. And the money in here is going to be solid because, you know, we have a 1-year annual membership that starts at $149. So that's the big risk to get into crypto. Oh my goodness, $149 for a year membership. And if people think that's risky, then watch out what's going to happen to your whatever you got in the bank, because that's where the risk is. So they're able to come in at a really, really reasonable value for the year. This isn't an auto ship where you're spending that per month or anything like that. It's a full year. You get the value of that probably next week, just for info for you, Dwayne. To get the 9-level commissions, people will have to have those $149 packages. So you can get level 1 and get commissions without ever making a purchase of anything. But to get down through level 2 to 9, will have to have the $149 dollar package to be able to thrive in that. And if you don't, it's just going to be passing you by, going up to the next person. And it's a really, really simple thing. And we also have education, beautiful blockchain videos and on Bitcoin history and that kind of thing. I think it's things that you could find out there in YouTube and that as well. But it's all really in a nice packaged way for us and that. So it's education, learning, catch your breath and learn about this brave new world of crypto. Really, it's just no different.
And you're not filling your garage with soap or vitamins. And I'm not picking on anybody or any company and somebody who has been through that. I don't say that to poke fun at you. I say that out of empathy, I guess. I've seen so many people go through so many things and get hurt financially, and it's usually not the financial damage that's so bad, it's the psychological damage that comes along with being financially hurt. And so instead of, soap and vitamins, I guess you could say you're stacking up coins in your garage, which I don't know, I just kind of like the sound of that better.
Yeah, I'm like a garage full of what? A garage full of money. Bitcoin and Ethereum and money. Okay, that sounds pretty sweet to me. We have a card that's going to allow the big question on it. Well, how do I get it out? Well, we have a card. I'm waiting for mine to get delivered. It launched last week, where we'll be able to load up our card with crypto, turn it into a spendable utility. But I'm going to get the card, demonstrate it, show it that it works, all of that. But I'll be darned if I'm going to be spending Bitcoin and Ethereum right now on a bull run. I'll tell you that. I'm holding on to it. That's the way that works. If I'm not holding on to it, it's because it's gone into another life. So I will spend it, or I will invest it in a person. That is good value, because people are your best return on energy and investment once you get your head around this. But also, I talked about earlier about teaching English and people being fossilized. People get fossilized through hurt or pain. They think that's the way it is. They make a judgment on it. They went to the restaurant the first time around and got food poisoning. Well, I'll never go to another restaurant in my life. We got to be very careful of painting this with yesterday's leftovers. This is not that. This is something fresh and new, and we're doing it in a unique and special way. We've got the results already. I'm so, I don't know if I sound excited or not, but I'm kind of over the moon with what we're doing here. Dream come true for me. And I think it's at the right time and it's the right place. It's kind of like Joseph in prison back in the day with the Pharaoh and, all the hardships he had to go through for where he could finally be heard. It was like 10, 20 years in prison. Go back and look at the details of that. And then he had to have create a business plan to create safety in the years of famine. Those years of famine are upon us right now. But we have an ace up our sleeve, if we will. In the midst of famine, we can still create wealth for anybody right now and get it going for them, so they can at least have a chance, at least have some hope. They may have lost everything in the next little while, but they can come in with us and have hope and work with us and develop our community with us. And some of the work with us is just showing up, just being there, just learning with us and that. So, and this thing is working, Dwayne, like nothing I've ever experienced before. And I think it's what the world needs right now. So I'm over the moon happy with it. Let me show you the value of how we build. And you've seen this a number of times. I show it because again, repetition is the secret to all learning. And this is the traditional model at the top there. And they get a person, and the one at the bottom there, they get their person. One at the top gets their second person. And we get our second person down here. We're using the one below, and I'll get better graphics as I go. I'm not great, I'm good at getting the idea. And then the one at the top does the traditional model. He keeps all of his enrollments. One at the bottom gives it away, gives that person to their friend. Mm-hmm. How's the friend feeling? There's good energy now. Yeah. I'm on a team that isn't rah. I'm on a team. I'm in a community. I'm not on a team. I'm in a community. Mm-hmm. We're figuring out ways to help each other. Want to come across that way? Ooh, the other guy gets a team member. Which one? Where do you see the energy flowing, Dwayne? You see energy at the top? I see it all connected to one person. That's my view. I created it, so I guess I'm kind of biased, but I see. I don't see energy flowing between these people. It looks like they're connected, but they're completely separate from each other. Down below, we're seeing energy flowing here. And of course, that first or second person you brought in, they're saying, hey, this is something different. I actually made money and they haven't even done a thing yet. I'm going to tell my friend about that.
That was my experience, but I have to say there's no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. And I think that exists here. I really do.
It's happening for us. And so this is how we build. We build 2, 4, and 8, and we teach people that. And you get that and pass that baton on. So everybody's focusing on the 2, 4, and 8. And really the 2 is the key. That's the absolute key for it. We start with 1 and then get our second and then build this 2, 4, 8. It actually, the way I've set it up is I create a lot of diversity in our team. So there is some nuance to this that we've been really blessed to have. And but you can just see the flow happening here. It is so much fun doing this way. People are feeling, what is this about? We've never been part of something like that. And then there's a whole bunch of chatter out there trying to do the, wow, look at that person. They got 14, 15, 20, 30 people across and everybody's applauding it. And I'm kind of crying inside, Dwayne, quite frankly, when I hear it, because I know all those people are going to be very frustrated, very disillusioned. How can that help our coin? With disillusioned people in our system, our coin thrives on abundance and people sharing and talking it up and feeling good about the whole system. I've got a lot of cash in this system in our coins. I want it to work, and it's going to work when people are feeling good and happy and talking about it in a positive way. There's lots of strategies out there for building the coin up in value in that, and that's what Price Maker Channel is about. But let's face it, the best value we bring to it is a community that's thriving and buzzing and talking about. Join us and come and see what this thing's about. So let's get that energy flowing that way, rather than, I kind of look at the top line there and I kind of see it as a heart monitor. And, a straight line on a heart monitor is not your best thing.
It's not good, no. That's not what you want.
No, we want energy flowing and we want to have a flow. We really talk about a river analogy. You have the 2 banks of the river. You don't have 3 banks in a river. You have 2 banks in a river. And guess what we happen to be doing? We're kind of a crypto bank, if you will. So there's a synchronicity happening here where we're understanding it. And then a river has flow. It has energy with it. You don't dam up a river. You let it flow and do what it's supposed to do and bring life to everything around it. All cities are geared around water of some kind, and usually a river is involved with it. We need flow. We do not need a straight line. You build a straight line river. You build straighten out a river, and it'll flood out. That area would flood out every year with in the springtime. In that, rivers are designed actually even to protect an area from flooding. Because they can handle more volume as they wind around and do their things in that. So rivers are meant not to be straight lines, they're meant to have flow. So we get to do that in a great way here. And that's what we call the level 1, 2, and 3 that you're seeing there that I'm coming up with. And I want to recommend, and I'm going to switch gears here now, and we've talked about this before. This is Jacob Goldstein. He's the co-host of a great show. If you want to keep learning about money, Planet Money is fabulous on NPR.
Great podcast. I've listened to that for quite a number of years. They drop a new
people
episode every week.
Yeah, and people don't know the history of money. They just kind of is, right? We're just familiar. It's more of a familiar unknowing that they have, and they're comfortable with it, but they don't know a thing about it. Really, its history and how it works and market cycles, and every paper currency that has ever existed in the world has gone to nothing. Everyone. And that's where the economy's going. That's where the US dollar is going. And it's going to go, and it's going to go crazy here. This is a nice read, great on Audible. I love his, because he's a great podcaster. So he's narrating the book as well. Beautiful book. It's about 5 hours on the Audible. The true story of a made-up thing, and it's a great beginning step to get people's heads around money. So very, very valuable. And of course, I didn't highlight in one of my slides here in that, but I'd also say The Hidden Secrets of Money by Mike Maloney. He's talking about gold a lot, but he has a little bit on crypto. But watch Hidden Secrets of Money, episode 9 and 10. And that is, they were done about 2 or 3 years ago, very, very current and very, like Mike Maloney, he wouldn't call himself a prophet, but it's prophetic in actually nailing it with where the economy is going right now. And it is a shocker for anybody that takes the time to watch episode. The whole series is fabulous, but episode 9 and 10 is like, this is real life right now. Get our heads around it. The storm is on us right now. We need people in safe harbor. And what do? Hey, I called a young guy the other day and just said, hey, I'm doing something pretty special here. I just need your name, phone number, and email. And he said, sure, Dave, here you go. And he put it in the system. I've actually placed some people under him already. And I got him out of I feel like I'm out in a rowboat in the storm. To rescue whoever's out there.
Yeah.
Get them in the boat, whatever you can do. Just get them in the boat, get them to shore, go out and get somebody else. I kind of have that craziness about me, but we got to understand this is the time for us to get something good going for people in that. And then once they're on the shore, okay, we can breathe, we can look after you. You don't know what's going on, that's fine, because we're just going to do our thing. Eventually you're going to look at it and say, oh my goodness, what a different world this is. Wow, thank you. And as soon as that lifts, that stress, that we don't solve everything in 5 minutes with what we're doing, but the hope is real and tangible and experiential for people, and they feel it right away with us. And that's what we're able to have happen as well. This is special. This is like none other. No, this model that I'm using has never been done, in my understanding, in the history of the world. We have a company that is doing something so special that is kind of even in the crypto space, might be some others doing a little bit kind of what we're doing, but they're doing something that is cutting edge. While crypto is cutting edge, my goodness, 10 years and it's become the new gold, if you will, as a stored asset. And we have a utility asset with it. So many good things. We're building better. We're thinking better. We're looking for a better future in the midst of the worst crisis that the globe has ever seen. Something good's going on though with us in that. So our invitation is, come and see, come and take a look. I really love when I can give a buddy a call and say, hey, do you trust me enough to give your real name off of your driver's license or your passport? Let's make it real. Later on, they can give the rest of their details, but by then they know what they want to do. There is, a way of verifying who they are, but they can come in as simple as that: name, email, and their phone number, stuff that they already have public anyway. So no fear, no worry about giving away sensitive information until they're, it's come and see. Then they can take a look. I like what's going on. It's free, and then they say, yeah, I want to do more with this, but they've already experienced a come and see, come and be part of something. So it's different than, crossing your arms and, I'll come and I'll watch what you guys are doing. But to watch from the outside versus watching from the inside, what a difference it can make.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you can watch videos of Mark Spitz swimming every day for a year, and when you finally get in the pool, the first thing you're going to do is sink, because the only way to learn how to swim is by swimming. The only way to learn how to trade is by trading. And, you know, you got to get inside of this thing. You can't just, you know, it's not a spectator. This isn't a spectator sport. This is an opportunity for you to get involved, not just so you can be blessed, but so that you can be a blessing to others. And that book that David just shared with you is available, I believe, as an audio book. We talked about this, I think, last week. And Audible is a sponsor of our program and has been for many years. So you can point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN, audibletrial.com/CFRN. You'll get a free trial with Audible. You'll get this book that was just shown on the screen absolutely free, will not cost you a dime. It's a 2-week free trial. If you don't want to become a member of the book club, simply cancel the free trial anytime during the first 2 weeks. You'll never be billed a dime. Nobody has any hard feelings. It's Audible's way of exposing you to audiobooks. So they're going to give you this free book. This book, you can pick any book that Audible has by using the address I just gave you. But again, now remember, after 2 weeks, they'll assume you want to be a member of the book club, and you will get billed. So if you just want to get the free book, there's nothing wrong with that. They know that the large percentage of people that take their free trial will do it to get their free book, and they won't. But that's okay. That's built into their advertising model. So take advantage of it. Audible Trial CFRN, and tell them the name of the book again.
And yeah, let's go back to that. Money, the true story of a made-up thing.
And it is.
Because it really is. Money is the value. You know, someone says, how do you know it has value? Well, if I say it has value, it has value. It's really, and we don't realize how much value we put on it, our time, our energy, how we share back and forth. People can do, you know, there's many, many forms of how money works out, but it's a made-up thing, and we create it. Even gold, which people, you know, has tremendous value in our mind, but it's still a made-up thing in terms of as a monetary instrument. It's just that we put a value on it and we respect it, and it's solid and all of that kind of thing. But it's still, if we didn't put a value on it, we don't put a value on rocks. Like gold is kind of a rock, but you know, just your regular rock that you go find on the seashore. Well, I don't put a value on that. Oh, that's a shiny gold one on the seashore. I had friends in Congo who'd go down in the back of their farm down to a river and just kind of scrounge around and pull out nuggets of gold out in their hand. Literally could do that, and that was just, you know, it's just the way the way it was. So we're able to do this, getting things to people. The welcome is always there with us. We're send us an email to Golden Journey 10221022@gmail.com. Golden Journey 1022@gmail.com. Put in the subject line CFRN so that we'll know you're a friend of the show, and we'd make sure that everything that Dwayne and Emily are doing and their crew, you would be put right in that crew with how we build. And again, because of the specific way we build, everybody's placed carefully, but also within our 2x2 model. That's why we don't just send out random links to people, because I could spam 100 places. I had some guys spamming the other day with their links, and I thought, yeah, that's really cute. You do that, and I understand what that is, and no, thank you very much. You don't care about me. I don't care about you. I don't know, or I might care about you, but I don't know you. And the first thing you do with me is spam me with your link. Cut it out. And I told him that.
The focus here is not on recruiting, but on actually building a community.
Mm-hmm. And so that's pretty much what I had to share today. I hope that was.
I always enjoy it.
I hope
Thank
that
you
was
so much. Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. Guys, that email address that was up on the screen, send an email there. If you weren't able to grab that URL, I'll post it in our discussion group on Telegram. I'll post it in the places I normally post stuff, so you can go right to the room Just tell them CFRN sent you, or send an email right there, subject CFRN, and then they'll reply to your email with that link so that you can click it and pop into the Zoom room. And some people I know are shy about Zoom because they haven't done their hair yet today. You know, they haven't put on their makeup. When the Zoom room starts to open, it will ask you, do you want to join with video or without video? So if you haven't had a chance to fix your face or do your hair, you can always click join without video. Nobody sees you, but you can still talk over the microphone and they can hear you so that you can ask questions and get answers. You can do what I do because I'm not always presentable to be on camera. I got a free Zoom account, and I just uploaded a picture of me to my account. So now anytime that I log into a Zoom meeting, I join without video, but it shows a nice little picture of me, so at least people can associate a face with the voice.
Really nice to see that 23-year-old face of yours on your when you fill up.
I'll never forget. I had an important business meeting with the CEO of a company at the Phoenix Country Club, and I only knew, he and I had many phone conversations, and on his company's website, there was a picture of him as the CEO. I didn't know that picture was taken 25 years ago because I walk into the Phoenix Country Club, into the dining room, and I'm looking for the guy on the website, the CEO, and this silver-haired gentleman walked up to me and said, "You're Dwayne, right?" And I said, "Yeah. Do I know you?" And then he said, "Yeah, and gave me his name, and I had to think quick on my feet then. Oh, yes, gosh, you look great. Let's get something to eat." So anyway, thanks so much, David, for coming today. Look forward to seeing you Saturday morning at the weekly meeting, and then we'll see you back right here again next Wednesday.
Okay, thanks for being so attentive to it, and always a pleasure being here. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.
God bless you and everything you do.
Thank you. Bye now.
Okie doke. Let's jump back to this. Okay, we didn't miss much as far as the markets go. Hopefully you gained a lot from talking with David, but we're still consolidating at the weekly zone, 3900/3901. This is a wide-ranging consolidation. Price did drop. Okay, on our alert with the final trade to target 3930/31, the swing high of the trade was 3928.50. Okay, we then we started dropping 9:30 at the Wall Street Open. We got below the BBC on the following 30-minute candle, and we dropped to the zone at 3900. Okay, we sliced through the zone. Three things happen at a zone: consolidation, rejection, and the least likely is the slice. But when it happens, this is typically what happens. The move runs out of steam. Price then retraces back to the zone it sliced through, and then it continues in the direction of the slice. It's exactly what happened. That's what we anticipate. And when price approaches a zone, we expect it to be good support. When price goes up to a zone, we expect it to be good resistance. So the most common thing to happen at a zone is consolidation. Second most likely thing is this: rejection. It's pretty clear. Price came all the way down, got rejected. Third and least likely, but it happens, the slice. And this is a textbook example of a slice. So we have to break out of this consolidation before we have any tradable opportunities. From here, because we now are on the right side of red and falling, okay, you notice how here on the way down, price is on the left side of red and falling, okay, because we've consolidated sideways, price has now walked sideways to get on the right side of red and falling. So the high probability move from here is for price to reach up to the BBC, bull bear cross, bullish above it, bearish below it, and when price reaches up to touch the BBC, we will have an alert in the channel to get short back down to this zone, which again, we're approaching it from above. We all expect that to be good support until proven otherwise. That's simple. Trading's not easy, but it can be that simple. Don't overthink it. Don't let people overcomplicate it for you. You know, there's a million indicators and oscillators and algorithms, and there's all kinds of stuff out there, and I'm not knocking any of them. I'm sure they all do exactly what they were created to do. Price does one of three things. That's all price can do, is one of three things. It can go up, it can go down, it can go sideways for a while. How many things do I need on my screen to tell me if price is going up, down, or sideways? At the end of the day, we're price action traders. I think this move down showed. Okay, now remember, this number went out to our members Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So as price was dropping, after we pulled back up to the zone and confirmed it as good resistance, all of our traders on this drop knew that this zone would be good support until proven otherwise, right? And so far it hasn't been proven otherwise. So we're consolidating sideways. Price can only do three things. From here, we anticipate it to move up, but we're not interested in that up move because that would be counter trend. We're below the BBC on the 30-minute. So to go long here, now some people do trade counter trend. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not our strategy. So price reaches up, touches the BBC. The BBC becomes good resistance, and that creates our next leg to the downside. Okay, beautiful day to be in the market. We had a beautiful long last night. Long 39.15, initial target 39.17, right there. And then the same 30-minute candle, price got back below the trigger, triggered a second time, made it up to the second target, went 1 point above the second target, potential resistance, 39.23. Price always reverts to the mean, pull back to the BBC. Now we have an issue with, we've got the BBC below support, we've got red and falling above resistance. So price, you know, pings back and forth from support to resistance to support to resistance to support until buyers prove that they're committed enough to the upside to take this run. And the swing high, 39.28 half. The final trade to target was the weekly zone overhead, 30/31. This is another beautiful example. I always tell you over and over, zones are an area. Now, we get accustomed often to price turning, you know, right at a zone. It doesn't always do that. So when you're in a trade and you're approaching the zone, the closer you get, the higher the probability that it's going to get there. But what if it doesn't? So as you are approaching the zone, you need to start tightening up the stop, tightening it up. So when this happens, okay, the money that you earned, we don't win money here. This isn't the county fair, okay? You'll never hear me talk about how much I won today. I get up, I go to work, I work hard, I earn my money. No winning involved, okay? Now, some people go, oh, that's nitpicking, you know, it's just semantics. You need to think about how you think. You need to think about what you think. If you think like a gambler, you're going to act like a gambler, you're going to get gambling type results. If you think like a businessman. You're going to speak and act like a businessman. And you'll get business type results. That's simple. Trading is not easy. But everybody out there really wants to make it complicated so they can sell you a million different things to solve problems that don't even exist. Except in their mind and yours once they plant the seed. So, real quick, we'll look at the Dow. Okay. When the S&P makes a big move, you can expect that the other indices will follow suit. So there's the Dow. Very similar move. Once price gets below the BBC and starts to drop, takes us right to the zone, which we expect to be good support, and it was. Bounced us back up, and now we're now on the Dow where we're hoping to be shortly on the S&P. So once price gets below red and falling, we'll have a nice window of opportunity from 31,260 to 31,240. It's 20 points, $5 a point, $100 per contract traded. If you've earned the right to trade 2 contracts, then it's a $200 move. Now, the market may find support here, it may not. If it doesn't, if it's a strong momentum move, you can just stay with it right down to the zone. Now, once it gets to the zone, you expect that to be good support, like it was here, like it was here. On this candle, we just happened to spike it a bit, but all these candles have closed above the zone. We don't want to get short right here. The step line already you can see is acting as good support. As price comes down to red and falling, because we're on the north side of red and falling can act as support. We want to get below red and falling, 31,260 to 31,240 initial target, final trade to target, 31,225 at the zone. Okay. All right. On the Russell, looks pretty similar, huh? That's how the indices work. So we had a zone at 2295/96. Our highest weekly zone is up at 3233 for the Russell. This is an old weekly zone at 2278. That was the highest weekly zone 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. All right, so what do we expect here? Okay, we're below the BBC, so immediately we know we expect lower prices. Because price is on the north side of the Russell, on the north side of red and falling, that can act as support. So our window of opportunity is right there. 2285 to the initial target at 2283. And then potential support 2281, 2278, 2273, 2263. It's not magic. It's not voodoo. It's not witchcraft. It's not some secret. And that bugs a lot of people because they've spent a lot of time and a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of treasure trying to figure out the secret, the key that unlocks the wealth of Wall Street. That's all a bunch of hooey and nonsense. Price trades from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, back to support, all day long, every day since the inception of the markets. And that'll never change. These are auction-style markets. Buyers on the bid, sellers on the ask. Futures, stocks, doesn't matter. It's the same model. Price channels back and forth. How much is somebody willing to pay for something? And how little will somebody sell it for? And price just pings back and forth, back and forth. Like I said, at the end of the day, we're price action traders. The indicators are just here to help you see more clearly what price is doing. Now, I said that, okay, when price approaches red and falling from the north side, we expect it to be resistance on the way up, but coming down, it can be support, okay? So we need to see price get below support before we enter short. And again, window of opportunity, there's initial target, second target, third target, fourth target. If you've spent a lot of money in a lot of different places trying to learn complicated, convoluted methods and strategies for trading, hey, you're not alone. We all have been through that. All of us have been through that. The good news is because we already went through it, you don't have to. There's a hard way, there's a simple way. There is no easy way. If it were easy, everybody would do it. Trading is not easy, but it can be simple. And some people really have a hard time getting their brain wrapped around the fact that it can be simple. No, it can't be simple. I've spent too much money and too much time, and I've failed and I've failed and I've failed. There's no way it can be simple. Okay, let's look at the NQ. There's that consolidation right to the zone. Well, support and resistance, that's horse and buggy. You can't use that anymore. There's more sophisticated tools. There's algorithms. Okay. Support, resistance. Support, resistance. Over and over. All day long. So we're consolidating here above the zone. So we would want to see price get below red and falling. So 13,598 down to 88 is a window of opportunity. Now, that's cutting it a little close. You could be patient, wait for this bigger window of opportunity here. And yes, they are sweeping my streets today. And it's a nice day. It's not 100 degrees yet in Phoenix, so I can actually have my window open. So we covered the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, the NQ. Let's go crude. Okay. Yeah, we don't need these fibs, so we'll get rid of those. Okay. Crude 59.10 is the highest weekly zone, 59.10/15. The zone below that's 57.85. Below that's 57.50/55. Support to resistance. Consolidate, lag, retrace, confirm good support, blue and climbing, off we go. Buyers were willing to pay all the way up to 58.62, but no buyer in the market at that point in time was willing to pay 58.63. If there had been, then the high would be 58.63. But nobody was willing to pay that, so the high is 58.62. Now, price is always trying to get to a weekly trading zone. So once we get above this zone and the pullback holds, we know that price is trying to get to the zone overhead. Didn't make it. That's okay. From the zone at 57.85/90, yeah, round it up, call it 58 bucks. From 58 to the swing high here, it's 58.62. That's a $600 per contract move. We had an alert right here. Okay, it's triggered here, and then here, and here. So we've got a leg, we got a retracement, we got a leg, we got a retracement. What's price trying to do? It's trying to get to the zone overhead. Right here, it was trying to get to the zone below. but it ran into support. See this right here? See this bullish cross? Right there. The bullish cross. When price comes back to that area, there it is once, there it is twice, there it is 3 times. All of our traders know to watch for this and expect that. Okay? So now that price is back above the BBC, we know that it's trying to get to the zone overhead. We want to see it get above blue and climbing. We want to see it get above the step line. We want to see it get above this swing high. And then that'll give us a nice little window of opportunity from what we got, 58.90 up to 59.10. It's a $200 per contract move. If you've earned the right to trade 2 contracts, then it's a $400 move. Okay. Here's gold. Okay. 1820/21 weekly zone. 1833/34 weekly zone. And the next zone overhead, the highest weekly zone for this week is 1870/71. Price is above the BBC. So what do we know? We know price is trying to get to the zone overhead. It was trying here, it was trying here, hasn't made it yet. When price got below the BBC, we knew it was trying to get to the zone below, and it did. So now we want to see price get above that swing high, above that swing high, and then we'll have a nice window of opportunity right here. I'll put an alert out, and if we can take out these highs, then we'll have another alert, another window of opportunity right up to the zone. So there you have it. Around the world. Good word for the day. Now, yesterday, we talked about making your life count for God. And I think we'd all agree that's important. Because it was He who gave us life. What I want to convey to you today as we close out the show, because sometimes we feel worthless. Really? Yeah, really. But in God's eyes, I want you to know that you're accepted, loved, and secure. Romans 8:15 teaches us that He adopted you as His own. Romans 8:15, for you did not receive the spirit of slavery to fall back into fear, but you have received the spirit of adoption as sons, by whom we cry, Abba, Father. If you're adopted, that means your parents chose you. They could have picked a different gender, color, or ancestry, but they didn't. They selected you. Now you may think, but if they could have foreseen the rest of my life, they might have changed their minds. And that's the point here. God has foreseen our entire lives from beginning to end. And He was still convinced to adopt us into His own family by bringing us to Himself through Jesus Christ. That's Ephesians 1:5. Because He's God, He was able to see every mistake you would ever make. And He still chose you. And now we can live like God's very own children. adopted into his family, and calling to him, Father, Father. And since we are his children, we will share his treasures. For all God gives to his Son, Jesus, is now ours too. That's Romans 8:15 through 17. God doesn't accept you because of your pedigree. He doesn't reject you because of your divorce, your deficiencies, your debt, or your dumb choices. Because you, my friend, are his redeemed child. You can call him Abba, which means daddy or papa. Ephesians 3:12 says you may approach God with freedom and confidence. And that's so on your bad days as well as your good ones. And it gets even better. Your adoption is horizontal as well as vertical. You're now a member of his redeemed family. Dividing walls of hostility are broken down, and community is created on the basis of a common Father. Instant family worldwide. If God loves you, you must be worth loving. If he wants you in his kingdom, then you must be worth having. God's grace invites you, no, it requires you to change your attitude about yourself and take sides with God against your feelings of rejection or superiority, unworthiness, or merit. You're accepted, loved, and secure because of Jesus. And that neighbor, that friend, that relative, that business associate that you're having a hard time dealing with, guess what? God feels the same way about him that he feels about you. And sometimes that can rub us wrong. Don't ever find yourself in the position of, I deserve God's love, and he doesn't because he did this and he did that. You don't want us bringing out the list of everything you did wrong, do you? He loves us all. He accepts us all. We're all part of the same family. We all have the same Father in heaven. And he who believes shall spend eternity with him and with each other. So bury the hatchet, not where you part your hair. Make peace. That's what we're called to be. Peacemakers. Sometimes we have to be warriors. But at the end of the day, God is about love, about peace, and about forgiving one another for their wrong, no matter how grievous, because he forgave you and me. That's how he rolls. And that's our good word for the day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.